Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today I decided to do a guide slash mod showcase so that you can modernize your combat and maybe mimic mine a little bit. So I will be listing mods that people generally ask me about. I won't be going too overboard with this though, but this is for third person. If you prefer first person, then this video won't be for you, because that is kind of where modern combat has headed for Skyrim in 2024. But if you end up enjoying this video and want to see more, make sure you hit that like button down below and maybe subscribe, because it is free and you can always get your money back at any time. So with that out the way, let's dive right in, and also feel free to skip around. First, we're starting off with the must-have mods, and to even begin doing this, we need none other than true directional movement. This mod allows for 360 movement, so you can now face the camera when moving and also run in circles. There's head tracking also with two sides to it. There's spine movement when your head turns, and also just head movement. You can tune this in the MCM to just have the head tracking if you prefer that, which is actually what I end up doing most of the time. There is also target locking, but this does require Truehud, which is also a must-have mod for this combat overhaul. And there's also 3 versions of the lock-on that you're actually seeing. I do prefer cross transform, which is the most basic one that comes with true directional movement and installation, but there are 3 other versions for you to pick from. But Truehud expands on this, giving the enemies locked onto health bars, or you can turn it on for every enemy on screen. Up to you. The next mod up that you want to grab is Dual Wield SKSE. This mod allows for you to block while using magic. You can't block with magic in both hands because that would be kind of cheating, and that's kind of what wards are for. But if you want to use a sword and maybe flames, this mod allows for that. All you have to do personally is set a custom block key in the INI file. But it can be M2 unfortunately, but that would be great if it could. And of course, for this overhaul, you'll be needing Attack Modern Combat Overhaul by Distar. This mod is like the father of all third person combat at this point. This mod pretty much removes all ice skating in Skyrim, allowing for combos now. This mod also allows for dual wield blocking, but not for magic like dual wield SKSE. That's why you kinda need both. And then there's Precision, basically an add-on for Attack Modern Combat Overhaul, but it also does work for vanilla, but I don't recommend it at all. This mod adjusts all hitboxes in Skyrim, making them accurate to the weapon rather than the character, so you may find yourself missing a lot more than usual. The cones you're seeing is because I turned on debug mode. It's not normally like this, just so you can see how this mod affects combat. But this mod also comes with some miscellaneous features, such as causing recoil when you hit a wall, which you can toggle because it can be kind of a headache in small areas. And then there's the screen shake, which everyone always asks me about. That is this mod, allowing for your screen to shake when you hit something. Just maybe don't have it this high, this is just for a showcase. But up next, you need a dodge mod with Attack Modern Combat Overhaul, so I use Dodge Modern Combat Overhaul. The reason I prefer this one over TK Dodge, besides the fact that it barely works, is because this one has 2 versions of a dodge. There's the normal step dodge, and then there's the road dodge, which lets you put more distance between you and the attacker. But this mod also has recovery frames, so it doesn't feel too overpowered, because you'll probably end up dying a lot. And like I said, I can't really get TK Dodge to work anymore for some reason, but it's a great alternative. Up next, we have Attack Modern Combat Overhaul, but instead for NPCs, called Scar. This mod allows for NPCs to combo now in Skyrim. The most basic animations that this mod comes with though is pretty boring, and you won't see it too much in action because they only attack once. So I recommend pairing it with Elden Realm MCO Moveset for NPCs. That will turn them into monsters pretty much. With these 2 mods combined, they will now combo and determine what attack should be used just based on how distant you are. So if you back away a lot in your combat, you may see them power attacking a lot just to reach you. Trust me, even though they are out of stamina, they will continue to attack. It's kinda crazy. Which kinda brings me to my next mod. If you don't combine these 2, you will never get a chance to counter attack. That mod is called Scar Stamina Limitation. This mod makes it so they will stop attacking for once when they're out of stamina, meaning all that running you did actually meant something. Otherwise, you're just gonna end up with this type of combat 24/7. Alright, up next we got the real combat changes. Bringing up the biggest one, which is Valhalla Combat. This mod is a massive overhaul. Honestly, you could probably use this one and none of the rest of the mods in this video and be perfectly fine, as long as you know how to install it. Which a lot of people tend to struggle with because it requires Visual Studio 2023, which some people haven't downloaded yet for some reason. Valhalla Combat introduces a poise and execution system where there is 3 versions. They fall to their knees, which is my favorite. Then there's the one where you just have to press a hotkey, which is usually X for me because it's execution. It's kind of a pun. And then there's one you should never use, execution on hit. This one rarely activates, and when it does, it can be at the worst times and cause crashes, so avoid this one. The poise system is a great alternative way to killing enemies. I just kinda wish it wasn't instant death but a damage thing like Elden Ring. But then there's the stamina system. This system makes it so when you miss you will lose stamina, but when you hit something, you'll instead gain stamina or just not lose any at all. This does also affect NPCs, which also tie into Scar's stamina limitation. But my favorite part of the stamina system is stamina blocking, making it so when you or enemy block attacks, they will lose stamina until they can be staggered. Or you can counterattack or be killed if it's you. But I mean, you can kinda cheat and turn it off for yourself and just have it for NPCs, which is what I do. But you don't have to be like me and you can go and die a lot to this. But the parry system is where most people are intrigued with this mod. This mod allows for you to parry anything. There's two types of parries though. There's the normal parry, which just makes sparks appear and is pretty cool, and makes it so you don't take any damage. And then there's the perfect parry, which staggers enemies. You can pretty much perfect parry anything that has a melee attack, and it can kinda seem overpowered at times, to be honest. But then there's the ranged parry, allowing for you to deflect range attacks. This one also, just like the melee, has two versions. One where you just deflect the arrow or magic so you don't take any damage, and then the perfect parry, allowing for you to parry the attack back at the attacker, so it's pretty much a full reflect. But now we have animations. I'll put the disclaimer here, I use For Honor animations by Smooth. This is the free version that I'm currently showcasing, which is currently in my mod list that I will be making a webjack for when it actually works. But in my personal list, I use the paywall version, which is the glowing attacks you guys usually see me using in my showcases. So unfortunately, unless you're willing to pay $2 US, then you won't have those effects. It will look like this. And while the paywall version are a little more refined, these are pretty much almost identical, offering you sprinting attacks, new power attacks, and new animations for nearly every single weapon in the game. There's no War Axe animation because I don't believe there is a War Axe user in For Honor, besides Berserker, but he's a dual wield Berserker, so there's no free version of that yet. But these animations are pretty much perfect for anyone just looking to download a few mods and just plug it straight into their game, because these are player only, so you won't see any NPC copying you. Which is kind of what I prefer, because you wouldn't really be the Dragonborn if everyone else was just as cool as you. Smooth animations generally have a few requirements though, so make sure you read what those are before downloading, otherwise you won't have the sprint attacks, but other than that, everything else should work fine. My favorite NPCs animations though is Holmgang. This one will overwrite Elden Ring animations if you let it, but the reason I use this one is because it has a smooth new animations for NPCs that don't revolve around them spam attacking you with repeating everything. You'll generally see a combo and then they'll stop and back up. And trust me, you'll definitely be able to tell the difference between Elden Ring NPCs replacer and Holmgang, because Elden Ring is more brutal and repeating, while Holmgang is fancy, for lack of better words. Holmgang in my opinion just allows for a better chance of a counterattack. And then there's a small add-on I use called Ashes of War for NPCs. This mod just gives NPCs even more diversity than Holmgang and Elden Ring when attacking. This mod will make you see some strange attacks from NPCs randomly, and it's kind of cool. But unfortunately you won't see it in action too much, but it will be special when you do. Up next we have combat add-ons, not needed but highly recommended. The first mod is One Click Power Attack and G. This mod works with Attack Modern Combat Overhaul, allowing for you to power attack with one click or a key, rather than holding down a power attack, which can ruin your combo. It still works without this mod, but I highly recommend it just to make it easier on yourself. And next is Dynamic Impact Slash Effects. This mod makes it so when you hit something, depending on the material of the creature, you will see blood and a slash effect, which you can also change the color of or make invisible altogether, but I pretty much just leave it normal and patch it for enhanced blood textures. This mod might seem a bit fancy or over the top for some people, but honestly, I started loving this mod once it started to grow on me. And next we have Cinematic Kills Plus. You guys typically ask me about this, so here it is. When you kill an enemy, typically humanoids only, a slow time effect will apply, making the kill kind of cinematic. You can make it so it happens only on normal attacks or just power attacks. I myself typically go with the latter because otherwise it can get a bit annoying having everything slow time. Otherwise I definitely consider this a must have. Just like this next mod called Enemy Magelock. Basically fixing annoying mages in Skyrim, spamming you with flames and backing up so you can't really kill them. Now to even fire their spell they have to stand still or it won't work. This only affects NPCs though, so you can still be a troll and blast them from far away while moving, while they have to stand still and won't be able to reach you. Some might say this is overpowered, but I say it's necessary, especially with how hard we make our combat in 2024. Up next we have a similar mod, but instead for melee. called Vanguard. This mod completely reworks the way power bashing works in your game, because now when you unlock the power bash perk, new animations will be displayed. They have been made much stronger than vanilla, but not too strong, but you'll definitely see how good it is now. This mod also affects NPCs as well, making it so they can no longer bash you on a split of 0.5 seconds. Now it's telegraphed, allowing for you a chance to dodge if you pay attention. So basically, while this overhauls your power bash, leaving vanilla bash for you, this overhauls all bashing for NPCs. And yes, I realize I haven't given much attention to archery, so first up we have Bow Charge Plus. This is a simple mod allowing for you to charge your arrow, so now, however long you hold your aim actually matters. It comes with 3 colors though, so you'll be able to tell how charged it is based on the colors, and each one does more than the other. You can also configure this mod in MCM to make each one stronger than the other if you feel the damage difference is too low though, up to about 6 times damage. I paired this with Dynamic Dodge Shot, also by Smooth. This mod allows for you to dodge out the way when holding your aim and still be able to fire. This works with bow charge provided you charge up the arrow actually using that mod, and then you just have to hold M1 and then press M2 to dodge, and then release M1 and the arrow will fire. It can sound a bit tricky and be a bit tricky at first, but once you get the hang of it, these 2 mods work perfectly. And honestly, that was pretty much it for the perfect combat overhaul, or at least a modern one. I won't say perfect, or at least the basics. I might not even say modern. I could have at least listed 20 more mods, but they all have their own quirks that would probably turn you away from them, because that's my personal, so I kept it simple, just the mods that everyone should probably be using in 2024. So let me know what you thought down below in the comments, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace and love, guys.